It was a 7-3 loss, but it was an exciting 7-3 loss. You can't be mad about that. You can't look at that. Oh man, I can't believe that they're basically not even putting up content. What is this now? This was a good game. Maybe not the 8-7, overtime banger that everyone wanted, but a very fine game. And there's a lot of time for Chimpin to turn it around. There's a lot of time for Ariel Rise to, really just put it, really keep that practice going. Obviously, they're playing with at least somewhat of a weird roster where it's not the finalized roster. They've been trying out people recently. They have a player on the other team. Lots of weird things going on, but I mean, a 7-3, it's a great way to start, even then.
Yeah, at a minimum, I'm excited for our next match, which should be hopefully better and hopefully a little bit closer, of Karn & Co. and Triple T Esports. For some of you that may not know, I mentioned it earlier, Triple T Esports is the See You in Valhalla stack. Most of you will know Alex PRS. You have, obviously, Rice Asian. That alone is a very fun group. If I'm not mistaken, Select will be their sub. I really enjoy it. I think they're one of the more enjoyable teams, and we already know their ceiling. Rice and Asian is this, just by themselves, are amazing players to build yourself around.
Yeah, on the other side of the coin, though, you have Karn & Co. The name is familiar to everyone. Carnage has been in the scene for longer than the dinosaurs have been around. But even then, right now, their stack looks great with, Bless and Deity, and even Carnage is fragging. So, if Carnage is fragging, someone has a problem somewhere, and it's probably going to be whatever team they're playing against, because it's ridiculous that the man's dropping double digits on you, which he did to qualify. So, the passion's got to be high in Karn & Co. right now. Triple T obviously playing with hopefully at least measurable passion as well, because this is going to be a great game as well. It didn't have the expectations of being the opening game, but here we go. You can see it all in full. Schmink, Space Shoots player, Penguin, Bless, Deity, Carnage. So everyone ready to rock and roll for the opening game.
Yeah, and I think that Deity is still probably a little bit underrated. We saw him step up and close quals, but he found himself falling behind Raid after a very amazing season. I think we're going to see Deity come into a limelight here, really lock in. You mentioned, and I mentioned before, and what was a banger of the game, Carnage dropped 12 kills to qualify. That is terrifying. For any of you that do not know, he is a hard support. He doesn't generally drop that many kills. That isn't his job. If he can continue to drop even, let's say, 5 to 8 kills a game in consistency, this team goes from, I think, people's power rankings from maybe a bottom team to a middle of the pack. They would be genuinely terrifying if Carnage can start dropping 10 kills a game. I think everyone would agree to that, and we all know Bless, Penguin, Schmink. Schmink, obviously the X-Space Shoes player, that's where a lot of his knowledge comes from. It's where most people know him from, but still a fun core. And let's get ourselves over to Triple T Esports. Still a team that I think will be the most fun to watch. I think they also have a very good chance of doing well. Obviously, I love myself. Rice Asian, that stack together has always been fun. Eli, Select, and Epic still make for a very interesting core. And for the fun fact of the day, Fens, the 5 Heroes player, is actively coaching them for this match. Why, I could not tell you, but it will be entertaining nonetheless.
He sees something. He has a vision. I mean, Asian, Rice, they've been around the block. I mean, Rice had their shot in Pro League. I believe Asian did as well at one point a long time ago. I want to say it was a Parabellum roster. So before most people's time, Asian did get that T1 experience. It's not something that anyone in Karn & Co. can say to my recollection. So Triple T Esports here, they have that T1 experience. They're coaching, some young guns as well. They bring just a lot of really good, team building here. The issue is that going to be enough to get over Karn & Co. when they're floating, right? Is this enough to go all the way, right? You almost qualify for Pro League. You do such a good job in T2, make a really deep run, and now you're back in T3, ready to just do it all over again. Is the passion still high for these players? Are these players still able to just run it back and show that they still have what it takes to make those runs?
True, and I did it last time, and I'm going to do it now. I don't care if it's wrong, but I want to hold you to a real prediction. Who do you have winning between Triple T and Karn & Co.? I want to get a good answer.
Well, as a non-ball knower, I think both these teams are good. I can't make wrong predictions. Yeah, this should be a close one. It's really hard to tell. If I had to put my money on anyone, it'd be Karn & Co., which is why I'm going for Triple T, because again, I don't know ball.
And we get to do on a favorite map of mine. I love Labs. I will always love Labs. I'm a Chalet and Fortress lover as well. Fortress, a bit of an odd one for Karn & Co. We've seen them play it a handful of times with extremely varying degrees of success. I guarantee you, though, he's scrimming it. He's probably ready to bring it into the map pool. Maybe we do get to see it more come later in the play days or playoffs if they do make top 6. I'm excited to see what comes from our labs, though. And honestly, I'm going to have a bit of a tangent here. Karn & Co., if they have even remotely close to what we saw from Carnage in our closed qualifiers, they win 7-4. If it turns out that was a one-off and that was an amazing BO3 from him and nothing more, I have Triple T taking this away 7-1, 7-2.
Ooh.
It's
7-1, 7-2.
polarizing.
Ooh. I will say, okay, so I was going to joke. Wikipedia is always asking me if everyone donated $5, we'd be able to fund Wikipedia forever. If Karn & Co. and everyone on Karn & Co. can donate $5, they'd be able to fund Karn & Co. forever because, Blessed Deity are chipping in more than 5 kills apiece. They're probably dropping double digits each on average half the time. So, yeah, Karn & Co., they definitely have their spearhead all shaken out. They know exactly who's entering and who's getting those kills. It's about supporting them, and it's about having a cast built around them that not only support them, but still get frags when it's needed, still be able to, chip it in the kill department. Because you cannot have weak links. You can't have people who just drone, who just use util. You have to have everyone able to shoot back. And that's the strength of TTT, is that they have everyone who can shoot back. These players have shot back against the best, period. So that against Karn & Co., we're still trying to prove that they belong in that category. The guns are going to come along.
Yeah, I mean, at minimum, this game should be exciting because I think the big question that should be on everyone's mind, and I will continue to bring this up, is if Carnage had a one-off, dang, that sucks. If this is a real thing, Carnage apparently went from a middle of the pack to, good hard support and team builder to a genuinely terrifying monstrosity of a team. Because as you mentioned, Bless and Deity are already nuts. Like those two players alone can put up, 25 kills in a game when we've seen that. I will say this is a big thing to show out is that Bless and Deity, they're very inconsistent at times. It generally feels like when everyone is firing, when we see both of them getting good kills, the game's over, Karn & Co's winning. But that also doesn't come in as often as you'd hope. You see a lot of times where it's either Bless or Deity doing a lot of the heavy lifting and everyone else has to step up. Penguin isn't a bad player. Schmink isn't a bad player, but you don't expect them to drop the amount of kills to make up for that. So I think it's the big thing to look forward to and, really watch is how do the entries play out? And more importantly, do we see both Bless and Deity step up?
Yeah. It's, when you're looking at your entries and you're asking them to get kills, that's all well and good. The issue also is it's not just about kills, it's about the context of those kills a lot of times. Labs is a map where you have a lot of choke, a lot of lethal crosses. I'm thinking top floor, right, where you have to walk in through IT into what is 1,000% a crossfire. It's never going to not be a crossfire. If you're walking in through IT door, you're going to get shot at by at least 2 different angles. It's just how it has to be. And that happens a lot on every part of the map, right? There's a lot of points, no matter which way you push. Down cargo stairs, through warehouse door. No matter where you are trying to take on this map, you're going to be pushing into crossfires. And so it's really important that you're able to push into those crossfires and take space. Bless and Deity are going to have a hard time entering, but if they're enabled and if they're able to push in and get that space, even just 1 kill around from one of them is perfect. If you can get into the bomb site, if you can send that player deep, that's what you need.
Yeah, and it seems we're going to have to throw to a quick little break as everyone looms into the lobby. We'll be back real soon with match 2 of XGS Season 9, and we'll hope to see y'all in just a little bit. And we are back with ourselves one more game, and Triple T Esports will ban away the Bandits. Ace will fall as well. I'm assuming the Cade will be gone, but I do think that the attacking ban for Karn and Co. is a little bit more open.
The attacking ban is quite a bit more open, but
Oh.
I say that Thermite. Yeah, this is how some Night Haven labs go sometimes. I don't know if they're my favorite bans. I have opinions that are probably wrong as someone who's a caster, right? I always see casters getting flamed for having, not the best analysis, but I really do. Something is weird to me about one team's going to ban the wall denial operators, one team's going to ban the hard. I always look at this and I go, why are we doing this little song and dance, right? Of like, obviously they want to ban out our ability to get the wall. Why are we putting some resources into the stuff that protects the wall? Especially because Maverick is still up. It's not being, hovered or anything yet, but Maverick is really solid on this map. I'm actually surprised I don't see more Maverick fans come in. So, Triple T still have some time to bust that out. Carnico, they have access to Mira, a strong operator who will never see the light of rank, but in comp, because there are so many powerful operators to ban, have such good impact. Mira does see their way into the games every now and again. We'll see the Mira facing a jungle wall, or connector wall as some people call it. And the other Mira is a little bit more in the open. Most likely going to go on IT wall. So I was going to say IT wall to impact trick. Since there's no impacts available and it's just C4s, they are either C4 tricking IT wall, or there are other stuff. Oh, actually, I see through the wall that it looks like Karn is putting the Mira facing into command? I must have seen that wrong, right, Cards? There's no way.
I would assume. I mean, that's a bit of an oddball. If that is the case, Deity will maybe find an entry here. Chance to go aggressive, but already that chance falls away. Surprisingly, no one from the side of Karn and Co. really getting aggressive. They're all opting to just stick themselves in their corners and wait it out. Bit of all chat and banter in the meantime. So far, no one really doing all too much. We'll see Penguin slowly but surely having to deal with an oncoming assault. The Grims will start it out in the catalyst to what could be a very aggressive play in a couple of seconds. Select with those Grims forcing him back. Monty of Rice causing more issues. Slowly but surely, he's now held in a cross. Rice will find the first pick easy. The entry goes down. Schmink trying to maybe get aggressive and see if he can take that back, but Bless could find it first, possibly. Instead, Deity find the trade inwards.
Oh, Bless connecting Rice. This isn't looking good. Optics trying to make an entry. Of course, Bless still just playing at the bottom of the garage. He's not been flushed out yet, and this isn't really a good way to do so. Optics still not looking that way. Does catch Carnage on the long angle, but the swing comes out. Derby's cut off, and they will fly back into sight. Schmink with two does not give them any ground. This is what I was talking about, especially in Clubhouse, contesting these entries, not letting them get any space. Karn and Co are doing that fantastically, but
no
Epic
way.
Through the door. So many crosses, so many angles, and he wins them all.
Well, listen, last game ended on a banger. If that's anywhere, if that's an omen of what's to come, we're in for one hell of a treat for a match 2. Because what? A 1v3, they knew where he was, ACOG madness, and then a tech pause to slow us down. But absolutely ridiculous moment for what was probably the still craziest, that is a crazy back-to-back end and beginning. You end a beautiful 7-3 with a crazy clutch with Spiff in the last seconds. Start the new one in a 1v3 of Triple T going absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if it works, but just crazy stuff.
The ratings are... This is prime television right there. Of course, players just really quickly popping on out to take their drone skins off. Obviously did not have an impact in that round. That was not off the back of information. I hate to break it to you guys. I don't think the drone skins had anything to do with it. But still, in the interest of competitive integrity, I'm going to be removing the skins and make them, default, easy to see. Obviously, we should gentlemen's agreements make all of our drones hot pink, able to be, just so no hiding drones allowed. you're just gonna have them all hot pink, and then you can't hide them anymore. Not gonna happen. Just, there's not a lot to talk about there. That was a Karn and Co round until I guess they just did not have the intel that the snake was inside of IT. They were not holding the cross very well. I mean, there was a miscommunication at some point of who's watching what. Good teams, they do a great job of communicating what each player is doing so they know where the holes are. Epic finds the hole, and it was not communicated by Karn and Co fast enough. Just a couple of good flicks and round 3 keys. Heading into round 2, we're going to be going to a completely different bomb site, straight down in the basement. Alright, so you want to talk a little bit about the basement for me?
Absolutely. It's still, I'd argue, one of our favorite sites. I think I've had some of my favorite moments on this. Bless and DD specifically, I've seen them have crazy clutches here just in last qualifier, so at least looking good going into it. I think the only big surprise, Carnage 0-1. It's fine for now. Well, we'll see if it was a one-off. He obviously got hit by a crazy shot, but we'll see if Carnage can come back into his own and if this team is going to go from terrifying to, oh, good lord. But for right now, Carnage will sit at a donut. Don't expect that. I expect that to change, in all honesty. I think that he will find quite a few. Schmink is the big difference at 2-1. He kind of fell into a soft sport or hard sport role. Wasn't really all too aggressive, but 2 nice ones on the SMG-12 last round. Kept them in the fight, but as we saw, Epic with just a ridiculous clutch.
Are you putting Karn on fraud watch? Is that what's going on right now?
No.
Don't speak. We'll get in trouble. Either way. Going to the basement, we're going to be roaming, and therefore we're going to be bringing these intel operators, Snake, out anyone who decides to be on a little bit of an adventure. Deity. Imran and Bless. Oh man, I've named 4 members of Karn and Co. That's right. Only 1 player on site. It's the Mira. Has the utility to be able to hold all the angles, so there's not really a worry for a direct push, even though Rice is really just knocking on the door looking for the opportunity. But Triple T will try to clear out these players, or at the very least make sure that they do not make any big plays. Of course, Schmink is making a big play, but they were droned out. They know that he's here. They know vaguely that they are in either storage or warehouse. There's no pings, and Schmink will smartly drop back right in front of Rice at the floorboards, though. Trying to keep their life, but it's the players above that Triple T have chosen to ignore that get kills, and even the man.
Penguin with a nice one to even it back out. Select still has a couple of Deimos tracks to work with, is at that halfway point. Utility's looking fine for Triple T. You want to see if he can get that advantage back. Penguin aggressive on the upstairs. Gives away his position with the Scorpion. Likely fall back. Bless as well, the last major piece alive. With DD falling, and he's putting a lot of pressure on your main man, but Penguin will pick up 2. He's having himself a good round. The Deimos track does come out. Now what could be a smart play if you can split up. You can create different pressure elsewhere. Bless saves his teammate. Now Penguin stuck in a hard position. I try to win this. Asian, you do not need him clutching. Makes that 2 huge save. Keeps the round winnable, but a 1v2 is not easy by any stretch of the means.
Yeah, pretty simple. Doesn't do you a lot of good. Karn will avoid it. The moment that Asian tries to push down, Karn has been holding a Mira in pocket the entire round and will now place it down, facing storage. Of course, it doesn't even, not even a chance to look at it. Schmink through the wall of the SMG-12 to clean up that round. Going out of that round with a whimper as opposed to last round, we went out with a bang. Of course, Karn and Co. winning that round in the basement, and they now have their pick of the litter of sites other than basement. Covering storage control cards.
I mean, it's not the craziest thing in the world. If you really want to go to it, sure. Maybe second floor is just a bad omen right now. You know, after a round like the previous of round 1, I understand it. Maybe you want to cool off on it for a little bit. Either way, though, it's much better from Karn and Co. as a whole. Carnage did find 1. Everyone else really doing a good job. Got to remember, register for the marbles at the halftime point. Got to do it before round 5 because of delay. So register as quick as you can with the exclamation point play. More importantly, we got to see who's going to win this half here, because it's been 2 ridiculously polarizing rounds back-to-back. Very different in manner. I mean, I don't think anything's going to top the highlights of last round in the entire game. But much more calmed down, much more muted round from the group. But they won it, so you can't really complain from Carnage's end. I mean, that's sort of what they've been best at. He's been around so long, maybe playing a more boring style of Siege is how they win games.
Boring Siege. This is not the height of entertainment. I mean, that was a full roam extension. And this one is also not a full roam extension. We're also going to have everyone in the basement. In the basement. It's a possible point of question for these teams. Instead, Karn focusing mostly on the second floor. We have 2 players up there. I say that Bless has gone downstairs. If I open my mouth, it will be wrong. Bless is now in the basement. The point being is that Karnico want to take the whole map, make 3 Ts, clear all of it out. If you don't clear all of it out, they're going to be fine. Sight, TTT, we're just going to send it. Here comes the Blitz, here comes the Candelas, here comes the double shield Rice right on top of the hole. That's not going to end well for your
no.
Oh, but Karn goes down, Schmeek goes down. The plant got off, but rotated. So Bless, no idea where it is. There is no port, no dock, no planes. Plant down, 3v3 post-plant. There's still more chaos to be seen.
Yeah, now you need a ridiculously hard post-plant clutch. This site is miserable in the post-plant if you plant traditionally. In this case, it is going to be. So DD, someone here likely going to have to run out and find a couple of ridiculously nice picks. Maybe something for the highlight reel, but can't be happening. Penguin will find one. Gets rid of the monster, but now it's a 1v2. One of them has to watch the window on the rappel. Will get damage, not the pick. He might find the down. This is still possible, but he ran out of bullets. Now left down to just him with 10 seconds left. He got close, but it ain't gonna be enough. Just a couple bullets away from changing your fate, but Triple T will find another round.
Operators that belong in the basement. Pulse. Melt. Solens. Let's see, what else have we got? You can really run anyone with a nitro cell down there if you know what you're doing. Maybe impact nades. Why do we have a thorn down there? Why do we have a thorn with an Uzi down there? Not even a shotgun to open up the floorboards a little bit more and get some better angles should they move the plant. I mean, the Monty did try to plant right on top of the holes. As soon as the Monty moved, because they realized that wasn't maybe the brightest idea in the world, once the Monty moved, Thorn just kind of was in the basement going, okay, well, yeah, they're planting, guys.
Protect your bombs from being defused.
Yeah, I kind of look on a little bit. That was quite a bit of a blunder operator selection. I like Thorn. Thorn's a great operator. Very important, especially for counting the shields that were put. Like 2 of them. Thorn wasn't holding any gadgets, wasn't in a place to deny those shields from getting the value that they got, and also didn't have any way of doing anything from below. So Thorn just not utilized the fullest potential there. Triple T taking advantage of the fact that they were so spread out, did not have a clear way of denying the plant. They managed to get the first pick very quickly and lock it out. It maybe came down to a 1v1, but it was the easiest 1v1 ever.
Now remember, register for the marble race. I want to see 85 marbles in here. I want to see half the viewership at a minimum. Sign up, because that'd be kind of fun to watch in the halftime timeout. But we're going to go to a relatively strong Epic start. I mean, 6-2. Can't really ask for too much more. Having an amazing performance himself. Carnage at 1-2. A little bit more spread out from the group of Karn and Co. Normally taking that big lead. Penguin the closest to it, and I don't think the one expected. I mean, Didi and Bless were the ones, at least in close qualifiers, we saw Reedy excel. Penguin fell into a little bit more of what you call like a flex or soft support role. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out in the play days, because so far, it does feel like the roles have been a little bit more changed.
Around, figure out what's working. Running code. In the top 4 after they had lost it in their first attempt. Asian getting that kill on the Bless. That's real. Okay. Super important, especially when you guys have bodies, especially with the back shields. A lot of utility being used by Triple T to confirm their entry, being able to take that space. They now have Epic and Electrical being able to get intel on where these players on this side of the map are playing, and off of that they can make plays. But Penguin says no plays to be made. Goodbye, Asian. He's one of your top fraggers of the moment. So you're really gonna have to look for another way now as the man count is evened.
Good play so far from the man. I mean, I think the youngster on the team by most standards, and I think a bit of a fan favorite. People always love Penguin, but he's going to catch an even easier one. Monty didn't even know where to look. Rice and Asian both fall. The iconic duo of this team will be no longer. At least get a trade, so it's at a 3v3, but You're gonna have to pick this up with Epic, and Epic alone, as everyone else kind of struggling to get on the scoreboard. You do have DD, Karn, and Schmink. That shotgun should be a nuisance if well played, and you have 3 of them to work with. If you just sit tight on these corners, it's gonna make their life a living hell.
Now in the 3-3, and we're finally getting some walls opened up. Of course, Cabana's all on their lonesome in connector. Epic actually has left the building, and will now re-enter to join Eli in their push. The issue is Select. Where is Select? How are they going to have impact on the round? Are they going to be able to have impact before it's all falling apart? The answer was no. Select now finally rotating into connector, but it's already a 1v3. With so much to do, Karn just has to get some nice SMG-11 shots in, hit a little clip, and send it a little bit further, deeper. Karn and Co round, and we're all tied up.
And maybe the Carnage prophecy is true. That's 2 there. Overall, it's been pretty good as a whole. And a little bit of a surprise. Tactical timeout from Triple T Esports. I'd call it quite a bit early. I mean, 2 rounds in, you're at a tie game. I mean, the coach they have is Fens listed, so I don't know what he's going to provide, or maybe he sees something that's really exploitable, but calling a timeout at an even game feels like maybe a bit of a blunder. I'm not sure what the plan is here.
I do. I think I do. I have the vision, all right? So,
sure.
2-2. We're obviously doing solid on our attacks. Well, Night Haven Labs, let's really nail our attacks. We want to have, a 3-3-4-2 half, if we can, on our attacks. Like that would be winning. Undeniably, a 3-3-4-2 be you're way ahead of the group. So, a little bit of shaky round last round. All the time out now. Still competitive. This energy in the team is still probably up right now. All time out, get what you need sorted for these last 2 attacks. That way you can go into your defense floating. You don't really need to talk to the team about anything at that point. They know how to defend, right? The attack is much more dynamic, adaptive. You really need to straighten some things out in the attack. And you want to cruise through those defenses, but you want to set them up early. You want to get these next 2 rounds, at least look competitive in them. The rest of the game should be a done deal.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy to call a timeout. I don't think Fens would be a bad coach by any means. I mean, he's a T1 player, and Karn at that. His team obviously had a very amazing time in kickoff and had an okay run in the side of SLC. So it's not like they're a bad team. It's not like he's a bad player, and I've heard that he's actually pretty vocal. But to call a timeout at an even game, maybe you really do want to land these halves, and maybe you are betting on the fact that you have a large timeout looming over your head with your halftime timeout. It still just doesn't sit right with me. To do this, I'm not against it, but if you go down the defense, you have nothing to really stop you. I don't know. It's a risky play, in my opinion. I don't really know if calling it the 2-2 is really worth it.
For sliding on our defenses, it's going to be up to Rice to be able to put the boys back on track. We'll give that shot home. Now we're going to open up the main wall with these can openers. Of course, we love an Acer Thermite Prepare ban. So is the Deimos. So is Deity. I would ban them from hopping out. No more hopping out, Deity. Not allowed. As they will surrender to the opening pick so early, and for not as well, there really wasn't any value to be gained. We're going to see the Candelas. We're going to send some smoke nades. Rice trying to find safe harbor. Burned out by Schmink. Schmink gets a triple already. The rush is halted. Whatever been said in the timeout does not matter anymore, as it is all now to the wind. Asian evens it out. Now we're in a 2-2. Half the round still to play. Of course, the Thorn trap down. No one's going to be able to confirm that kill, so Eli will be able to rotate the set.
Yeah, but it's going to cost him 35 seconds here. This is going to be a slow res. And yes, you're grouping up, but so much time wasted, in all honesty. It could have been much easier, but that one razor wound will cause a bit of an annoyance for the group. Now, Asian will be picked up. At least have your 7-3 warrior who's been putting in quite a bit of work to try to save the round here, but your top frag is at low HP, and the person at full HP is a Yang shotgun with 0 kills. Not most hopeful for the round, believe it or not. A man can still dream. Oh, come on. It's still true, though. I think I said what's true. Now we got to see Schmink and Bless kind of just hold their ground. They don't have to do much of anything here. They have smokes. They have the good guns. And a shotgun. Sit in corners wait this one out as the clock slowly but surely bleeds. That will be trying to make some verticality, maybe find a lucky pick, but in all honesty, I don't see it coming. I think the bigger issue is you're going too passive here. You really need to try to push in aggressive because you don't even have the diffuser in your hands as of right now. I don't know what the play is because you currently don't have an easy leeway to the diffuser. It is on the main wall, not the secondary. There's not a hole there if I'm not mistaken. You're hoping for a lot to come from this round, and I don't know from where. Bless will finally throw out a smoke. Schmink will float around with the Vector. All you have to do, as I mentioned, is wait this out.
This is perfect.
It's perfect timing here. There's so little you can do, but maybe a play to be made. The issue is the diffuser. 8 seconds left. All you got to do is run now. Schmink can run for dear life, and this one will be his win. Sit in the corner. Finds them both. Hip fired a nice ADS end. Could have just waited it out, but you want to get a little bit sneaky. You want to get a little bit nice with it. Triple T will lose the round after their tactical timeout, but fret not. You do have a long 2-minute timeout incoming at the half point.
All right, now who was the MVP that round? Was it the person who got the triple kill, stopping the rush? Was it me? No. You know who it actually was? It was the player who put down the bulletproof. I'm not kidding you. That bulletproof camera, especially in that late round, would just come exactly. Hey, the fuse is right here. They can't push nano. I have the cam. Just watch your enemy.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Just watch your tank door. And that's all Karn and Co had to do is watch tank door. We let you walk in. Of course, the triple kill to deny the entry was still pretty sick. Maybe I should say they're the MVP, but it's in contention. It's in contention.
10 seconds to insertion.
Either way, it's been pretty dang good. Now, gotta see how it plays out with the last round of the half. Carnage at a fine 3-3.
To defuse a bomb.
I was really hoping for more from him, but in all honesty, this game has been kind of won in the time and by the margins. I don't really feel angry at this, you know, despite an amazing, obviously, close qualifier BO3 to get here. 3-3 in this case, I feel like with context isn't all that bad. If anything, it's pretty good for Carnage. He's winning the fights he needs to. He's winning the ones that he has to take, but he's still a soft support or hard support. He's not really getting aggressive, so I wouldn't expect the kills to be crazy either way, but fights he is taking, he's winning, which is enough here.
You know, cards. Don't go. See you in Valhalla / Triple T. For this part. Making it deep in Challenge. You know who didn't make it deep in Challenge League? Didn't make it far in Challenge League at all. It was Karn and Co. It was a disappointing result for them. And I think when you look at that, you go, man, that really sucks. Is it the end of the Karn and Co era? It's definitely not. This team is shaped up. They look so much better. They're playing against the Triple T again. You know, one of the top teams in Challenge League. You know, they didn't make it to Pro League, but they were a force to be reckoned with. And now, Karn and Co are doing a great job of making the force epic, trying to explode. But the team plays better from Karn and Co. And now we're in a the players are still scattered into the games.
Very winnable, especially if a player like that falls select in a bad position. Bless will find his one, looking for more. A 2v3 to be won, and a down on an Asian should make it easy now. Eli and Rice have to clean it out. As you mentioned, I actually casted that game where Karn and Co did fall. It was to the Kool-Aid Keegan Co. A little bit of a fun play on words there. Rice now at the plant. They may not see him. It could be a way to stop this, but Triple T will get it down. A nice shot from Eli means this now makes it a 1v2. Bless, he's going to have to do it all himself. Not impossible by any means, but it looks like a 3-3 half may be the expectation here. There's just so much to do, and Eli's upstairs, which means you have to win against the verticality, and you have to win a fight against a Monsine with 20 seconds left. I just don't see it happening. You can hope, but he assumes wrong. He assumed it was a basement play. It ain't going to happen, though. There's an angle from the DMR with the verticality. This round is over. Triple T will get the 3-3 half.
That means everybody, we're time for marble racing. Triple T, round out, and we're going to marbles. Marbles hype. Come on, cards. Woo, woo.
I'm hyped. Now let's actually see who wins in the second marble race. know what? That music, I want that playing every time we're on break now. That is some carnival fun music right there. And listen, I could yap for 2 minutes. I would vaguely enjoy it. But watching a bunch of marbles race is honestly more entertaining, I think, for all of us. Zach will win in the second map, and they are changing. So you know what? You get a new show every time. Gotta make sure to click exclamation point play, as now you can do it again for the next map, which will be map 3 or match 3, excuse me. But we still have to finish our game, still see how this ends before we get to see more marbles. At a minimum, Karn and Co putting up a good fight, but Triple T do keep it at a 3-3. I don't know. I feels like my prediction might be wrong on both ends somehow. Somehow I'm gonna be wrong, despite having literally multiple chances to be right.
Bomb located by attackers.
All of them wrong. That would be impressive. To be fair, you were trying to be very specific. We're trying to show the height of your T2, T3 analysis.
I whiffed.
Hey, it happens. Even these players, we saw the half a mag. So everyone wins. Even the best players win.
10 seconds to go.
What's on?
Yeah, you're not gonna.
5 seconds left.
Now you're not gonna be able to glaze him all too long. You're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. He's no longer with us for now. But I'm honestly surprised Penguin at 7-6. I mean, I think to my knowledge and to most people's, he was a soft support or flex, you could say. So to see him as the top frag for the side of Karn & Co. with Bless being below, yeah. And then you have Deity who's 3 and 5. Listen, Karn & Co. in this team has always had weird things with the scoreboard. It feels like the kills, the entries are always jumbled, but. This is certainly an interesting pattern. The soft support and the flex are currently near the top frag, and the secondary entry is the third man up.
However you get the round, who cares? It's still, right? Especially because a lot of these rounds have been, oh, we're gonna rush site. You don't have to get fragments. Bring your site players on site, and they quite literally were running into the building, just sending all the utility, double shields, sending it straight in. They're not opting for that, believe it or not. Marginally so. Opening up the wall there with the base that has gone to the He decided to not. And they opt for the month and the game. They like rushing, and so they will stop Karn & Co. from doing so themselves.
Bit of a slow start. I mean, obviously, a rush was the expectation. Penguin was at least trying to do something, but to no avail, it seems. And have likely Rice possibly going aggressive here. Might have an angle if he takes the gamble or takes the gander, but I think he's just going to sit back and let this one play out as usual at the halfway point. Either side has really done all too much. They had some damage, but you expect a little bit more from what is a generally aggressive attack from Karn & Co. It feels like they've really stepped their pacing up and a relatively good defense. But as I say that, Kassaker strike me down. Bless and Schmink both fall. Excuse me, one fall is what picks up a pick. And to enter a 4v4, still very winnable for both teams. And I think the big loss, though, is going to be that Grim and now the Nomad. Two of your best players are already on the floor. Now all Triple T have to do is just let this one die out in terms of time.
Well, they really need to just throw Fred. What they do have is guns, but that's not enough because also Triple T have the same amount of firepower. And hey, I have to harp on Karn & Co. there for no frag grenades, no explosives even that I saw. And so when you're going up against the Azami, bulletproof cams, and the players playing in these deep positions, and you go to flush them out with what utility? The answer is you lose the round. That wasn't an answer? Too bad. That's the answer. Lose the round, yes. Run it back. Different site down. TTT will head to the basement. And most likely going to see a bit of a roam, but supported by that echo, I really like this. I also do like the Denari setup. You will see preventing anyone from pushing in through the main breach, going deep.
Overall, pretty exciting. In all honesty, I'm glad to see. It was a start for Triple T. Now I want to see them pick it up. Asian having a much better game. He's really found himself. For what was a couple of rounds that were a little bit worrying, but he's come right back into it, and I'm glad. I want to see what they can do because Rice could come online. We could still see someone from Karn & Co. get back to their ways. Deity Very possible. Bless has been very wishy-washy in rounds. Maybe even Carnage can come back to what we saw in the close qualifiers. That might be a little bit more of a long shot, but you never know.
Carnage is like some ancient entity sealed. It's just their avatar poking through the fabric arena. I don't know. Anyway, Carnage is still at 3-5. We have to wait for the great old one to be released. Whatever way I mean great old one is up to audience interpretation. But for now, Triple T, no rituals to bring about such a thing. They are just chilling on this top floor. It's decided to still take whatever control of the map alone. Epic stranded up here, instantly starts feeling the pressure, impacts the hatch, and decides to dip. Brings the friends along, and so now Karn and Co, even though they have 4 players on the second floor, there's no one for them to clear.
So far, a good start. I don't know, Triple T getting their job done. Can't complain about what it's been so far. Now it's just, can you clean it up preferably? You already have a good start. Verticality will fall, but Karn and Co slowly but surely putting in a dent. But for the time frame, you'd hope from a little bit more. You want to see if you can get something better together. I think there's a lot to be done right now. Epic will be on alert here, and with no Deimos track his way, but a solid snake, they do know. So at minimum, DD is aware of a presence upstairs. May not be aware of who, but I think in this case it'll matter all too much. Matter much more is whether Bless knows that he's looming around quite a few bodies. A chance to find a pick, or taking away an Echo Drone is certainly at least a good consolation.
I think Spidey senses tingle and decides to back off. He had the scanner out and knew they were there, and now pulls out the scanner and we'll see that there's nobody. There's falling back. That's Epic now in 90. Will soon now catch Bless. Really choked the shots there, but will manage to bring down that player. And Karn and Co, they've really struggled to clear out these roamers. They have been playing so deep, way upstairs, close to Exo stairs. It's been a trouble to get rid of them. Now they turn towards sight. They're just watching the flank, hoping that they can push and leave these players stranded up. Here's the issue. These players can either rotate back or think so many options for them. Karn and Co, they're running out of such.
So far, a very winnable round, Karn and Co. It's just about the timing. If you get caught out by the shotgun, it could be bad, but if DD and Penguin both find their picks, it looks significantly less so. What looked to be a very controlled round goes madness. DD with a triple. He comes online, and as I mentioned, if anyone could do it, it would be DD, but they may not know. There may be a way to just save your round like this. If they don't see this, they don't see the echo, it's over. But the timing, talk about making it close. Absolutely ridiculous. You saw that echo went out, but with what, half a second to spare, the round is saved. Karn and Co. Spooked beyond belief, but they do keep this at an even game.
That was a round. That was really close. I mean, obviously, 1v3, we saw the echo.
Margins.
That was really close. My question is that the team did such a great job stalling time, being on the road. Why did everyone die from the vert upstairs? Right? Even if you don't try to flank and fight, you know very clearly they have vert control. They just cracked for 2 minutes to take vert control. They had a ramp. And then you just chill under all these vertical angles? You want something because they couldn't clear you. They were struggling so hard to hold that map presence. And for some reason, just so many picks. Living. Nothing. Free cards.
10 seconds to
I'll take
insertion.
3 kills at the beginning of the week. I got a question. Business plan. Running codes. Sorry for triple teams.
And maybe it's just let Epic and Asian figure it out in the end.
Attackers are heading out.
Who needs to have a plan when you have 2 amazing players who seem to clutch up whenever you actually need it, which is never a bad thing. But I'm a little bit worried now. DD is going good. Bless, even Penguin, I think a bit of a surprise. Obviously, love him as a player. In fact, he's one of my favorite players. But I didn't expect him to drop that many kills, in all honesty. I expected him to be a little bit more muted today, just simply because there's a lot of mouths to feed on this team. But he's found success, and once again, looks like a good team. Carnage may not be going online, but everyone else is, and that's a really, really good sign. I think that's a big thing in Playday 1 is even if you do lose today, you want to look for those positives. You want to look for those highlights when you get into Playday 2, Playday 3, Playday 4, because this isn't, one BL1 decides your fate. It's many, many, many Any points would be huge here, though. Even in overtime wouldn't be all too bad. But still in a position for regulation, both teams, which is a bit of a surprise. I expected one of them to really take a breakaway, but we might even go all the way to 15 if we're lucky.
Now, what the Karn they have brought frag grenades this time around, which makes things so much easier. Of course, it is not quite the same site as last time. It is a completely different site. It is a personal site.
Oh.
Edie will pick up the entry, continue to fight, force their way through.
Nice.
Here in the top floor is just one part, but the part comes all together, and Karn and Co. are ahead in the play.
Big thing is, that was Epic and Asian. That was your 1A, 1B guys to rely on. When they fall, your round gets harder. When you're in a 1v4, it gets even worse. Now, Triple T stuck in a Harry's position, as Select is now going to have to deal with a Deimos, a Dokkaebi Call, and many more to come. Listen, I like Intel as much as the next guy. This might be overkill. I think the lamb's already out to slaughter here. I think this is more just a countdown, alluding to when he's going to die eventually. Bless will die, though. Maybe a chance for a saving, but Penguin will eventually finish it off with the Deimos. I mean, there was very slim odds there. Simply just, there was too much into to deal with.
Great down. Couldn't get the kill. Couldn't stat that. Great kill. Great kill, quote unquote. Yeah, Karn & Co. made the adaptations to be able to clear the zombie holding upstairs. Even though it was a different bomb site, that allowed Karn & Co. to take the top floor control much easier. Once they took the top floor control, they had all the vertical they could ever want. They found those kills very swiftly. Triple T kind of just left reeling. Karn & Co. up 5-4. We head into our second round of bans. And we will see no hard breach bans for Triple T. Instead, they will ban the Snake, which has been doing a great job of getting that intel. It's even been kind of been used as a flank watcher. There's something that's quite a bit unique. Every once in a while, you'll see the Snake player just kind of chilling out and waiting, hoping that someone walks in the scanner and you can call out exactly, hey guys, they're on the flank. I'm gun up for it. You're good. Of course, you'll no longer be able to utilize it that way. Instead, you have to rely on the good old-fashioned drone, or Dokkaebi and Deimos, which obviously Karn & Co. have been very apt to as well. It's time they offer night. Oh, wait, sorry. Talking about the operators before they're here. Oh, I can talk about the defense operators, or you can, Cards, should you win.
10 seconds left.
I'm not gonna lie. I really want to bring up a question of like, what is DD gonna do on a Nook, on a 5-4 where this game is close? He switches the Twitch. We're safe from absolute terrorism within his own team. We're gonna instead bring a really good operator, in my opinion. Twitch, I think Colin kind of falling behind, not necessarily because she's bad, but we already have the F2 and another operator of Solid Snake. He is unbelievably good right now, if not the singular best intel op in the game. She's kind of fallen not out of the meta by any means, but a bit more of a secondary pick. Glad to see her coming around. Bless will hop on the Grim. Obviously, with a Solid Snake gone, you're going to have to sort of replace in lieu of that absence. And then it's exciting, though. Everyone's coming online. Even Carnage is having himself a relatively fine game. 3 and 6 isn't really all that bad, and more importantly, he's still making good plays. I'm assuming the pings have been good, the droning has been good.
Wall breach? Luckily, we have a Blackbeard, so that should be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to have to do that, but at least we have the answers. And again, we have the answers with the frag grenades cards. With the frag grenades to clear out the zombie and the bolt can. We have a Twitch to clear out these air tracks littering around. And so, Karn & Co. have been making the adaptations. They lost that first round in this half. They took it personally. I'm so glad they did. They've been playing much better Siege. They've been playing beautiful Siege, coordinated as a team. The chess game they've been playing with TTT, may have lost the opening, but here in the mid game, they're really taking these pieces. They're pulling themselves ahead. So you see the util go out. Chess game is still afoot.
So far, very winnable round for the side of Karn & Co. Not losing a pick. And as I say that, Caster Curse strike me down. Rice will take one. Now at a fine 6 and 7 with C4. So a very good chance to possibly go back to a neutral game here. The Grims might cause a couple of issues. He's being tracked. He's being very easily known where he is. Schmink will take damage and a death. Asian now runs away for dear life. Everyone on Triple T collapsing inwards, finding a couple of picks. Now leaves the side of Penguin and Bless trying to pick up the pieces. We'll find one, a pre-fire, but doesn't land. Bless now left in a 1v2. At least has fine positioning, but one Grim, you might not really be all too sure of where to go here. Asian on a banger of 11 and 7. Eli a little bit more workable, but those smokes should pose a bit of a threat if not dealt with. They have the intel. If they have the comms on where he is, it could turn disastrous real quick, simply just because you can't do all too much against it. Man center of Asian. Still, neither of them have really run into each other. Bit of a waiting game, if you will. The Grims will go out, but the problem is you only have one. Deals everything. A slow lurk upwards, a possible play to be made, the pre-fire, but the issue is Eli has an angle as well. A nice cross, and Triple T will find the round.
I really will play. Just play my contact. Just play my contact. Eli does just that to secure the round. Triple T was a little bit worried, considering could have picked up the diffuser, maybe tried to force a plant, force a peek. Not the way things go, and unfortunately, it does not play out the way Karn and Co. had hoped. Top 4, still a puzzle to be solved. And yet, the basement was very strong from Karn and Co. They did a very good job of, especially on the site execute. Their roam clear was a little bit sloppy, but Triple T played it very well, and then they couldn't capitalize on any of their mid-round gains. So this time, it's up to Triple T to make those adaptations, to make themselves to match point. We will be seeing all 12 rounds of regulation. The cards, we all want to see overtime.
Listen, I'm hopeful. I'm a hopeful man, and honestly, this game has been a very weird one. I mean, once again, DD stepping up, good. Bless being fine, yeah. Schmink even have a couple of kills as a support player, sure. Carnage at 3 and 7, it is workable. Only real wild card of this game, Penguin at 12 and 8 and 6. Good on him. In all seriousness, it's an amazing game from him as what is supposed to be a flex. He's kind of fallen himself into a bit more of a, I guess you'd call a tertiary entry. He's sort of floated around in positions and he hasn't really stuck. I think he's given a little bit more openness as the flex, and we've seen that. He's been able to go where needed, and he's found really good success doing so. I'm glad. It's giving him a little bit more of an open field to work with, to go where is needed, isn't a bad thing. I think Carnage realizes a player like that, sometimes it's best to just give them a little more freedom, give them that free reign, and let them do what they do best, which is cause chaos. And so far, it's had success, but I do want to see being close down regulation, see if we can get 2 rounds in a row here and stop an overtime push, because those are always much harder games to win, and plus less points.
Points. Luckily, your fate is still in your hands. Not trying to peek off the audio call, but Select's just better. And all of a sudden, Arnico shut out at the door. They do shove their foot into it. There's still an opening for them as they do manage to get 1. 4 and 3, and they still have a lot of map to go through. Again, this is a basement defense, and yet nobody from Karn & Co. is even on the first floor quite yet, and there are still 3 roamers for Triple T.
Lot to be done. Bless at minimum. It does have the Deimos track, so an easy way to clear them. Doesn't mean that's been an easy clear by any means. Simply just the pure mass that they have above is going to really make your job hard. And with a halftime to go, it's not impossible, but you're really going to need to see either an over-aggression from someone in Triple T, or something has to really be an error from them, because as of right now, it feels like they have control of this round. Carnage will find 1 there. He'll come on the board. Nice equalization pick. 2 players still floating around upstairs, likely to fall off. Asian very close to falling off. Both of them kind of just keep lurking around. Let the round play out. Select maybe force back here. Instead he goes more aggressive. Now you know at minimum, Carnage could try to make a play. The C4 goes wide, but no avail. Instead you have to keep swinging aggressively, looking for a pre-fire, but the issue is the Roni has 16 bullets. There's so little to work with, and a nice one from Bless means finally an advantage taken for Karn.
Yeah, but I wasted a lot of time. Still plenty of time to play with. C4 goes out, shot out of the air, no explosion to be had. Asian and Rice, 2 big players that we highlighted. That T1 experience for both of them. Now, that T1 experience going to matter? Are you the past or are you the present? Rice playing close, playing aggressive, spotting out my game, using the smokes to stall out, the vertical, trying to catch them out. They have the ability to stall, but they can't go longer as they're cleaned up by Bless. Asian, the 1v2, has to find it.
No way.
So little time! He gets the coverage! And he doesn't even need to get the final kill. Hot off the plant, 1 on time.
Talk about a close round here. We're going all the way. Triple T at minimum. Make it close, and certainly a scary point. Karn & Co had so much control, but just one pick, one misstep. It's going to screw you up here. Now a tactical timeout for Karn & Co. Just came in, actually, literally as this game, right before this game was going, if I'm not mistaken, we officially saw PK, the coach for ENC Team Ireland, will be the one coaching Karn & Co. as of long term. He was originally going to be Straw Hat LFO's coach. We'll have an announcement on that later. But he'll instead be coaching Karn & Co. So 45 seconds, try to regroup, save this game, try to get this one at least to overtime. Is Triple T up?
You know, it's so funny to me because we always look at Karn & Co. and we're like, yeah, that team. But it's not a word. It's just Karn and whoever Karn is playing with. Yeah, I know this is a really weird thing to talk about during a tactical timeout, you know, on round 12. But it's always just funny to me. When was the last time Karn played for an organization? It has to be years ago at this point. It's just one of those things. Just a passion playing in T2, playing orgless, but now having a coach, even though you are orgless, having support staff that want to see you succeed, playing, you know, just having that little bit extra. Is that timeout, is talking with your coach going to be the thing that pushes you over? Is that insight, that bird's eye view of, hey guys, this is what we're doing wrong, this is what we need to change. Let's get it done. Is that calming voice in the back lane what you need in order to see a round 13?
We're going to see Bless back on the demos and a little bit of shifts as Penguin opts to pick up the glass in a round like this. I don't know if I respect the decision or feel concerned for the craziness of the behavior to pick up an op like a glass in a round that is could very well be season defining in XGS. These first play days are so important. If you get your team on the right footing, if you start off, you know, in a regulation win, it would have been amazing. You can sweep it up in a halftime and have everyone look good while doing it. Might be even better, honestly, for the mental of the team, but could very well see neither here. We'll see R up in the actual round count. More importantly, it's going to be very passive as well. Asian immediately reinforcing off. He's perfectly fine with giving up the space. 30 seconds inwards and already starting to slowly retreat back.
All the troops back whenever you need to. You do not want to overextend. You don't want to leave anyone stranded. It's like first floor site. You still have this from the warehouse. There's actually quite a few people still upstairs. You're pulling. We put people up here. No one in the basement this time. You know, they realize that they don't have anyone who can make a real solid impact on the basement. Instead of playing this 3-2 split. They're wasting so much time up here, Cards. I worry that they're going to start wasting too much time, start spinning their wheels, and either force something bad, or worse, possibly, they could just try to hit the site under the watch of this vertical.
Jurel will get targeted by Deimos, slowly but surely. Karn & Co encroaching on the space, but Eli will find the first. His C4 does wonders. Still want to see if he can get an equalization pick. We'll try to bring this back into a winnable round. So you're going to still have to have a planner. It's going to be what would be essentially a pseudo 3v5 at that point. Try to explore, find just something a little more. The big thing is you can't even worry about this is your main thing. This is a step to the site. You still have to go to the first floor and figure it out there. Lot to be done. DD on the lurker might be able to find one. If you can find the 2-row, it would be huge, but continues to dance around. Can't find the pick. Asian will with one. Schmink keeps the dream alive, but at a 3v4, I don't know where you're going to find this advantage, and gets taken away. No, 1v4. DD needs a miracle to come in. We'll find one, but Asian with a nice clean out. Triple T will take a very close regulation game, 7-5, and a 1 out.
Great job by Triple T, much deserved. They showcased throughout that entire match that they had what it took. They had the clutch potential. They had a lot of their strategies sorted out right. They weren't afraid to play the map how it was supposed to be played. Lots of extensions, a lot of holding space. It's such a good job. That's why they win 7-5 against Karn & Co. Some of our favorites, you know, maybe not the favorites to take the whole thing, but I think everyone in T2 and T3 deep down rooting for a lot of this Karn & Co roster. You know, a lot of names have been around the block for a minute. A lot of players who, you know, showing a lot of passion, showing a lot of skill. We hope go far, but in this case, it's Triple T. It's some of that old blood and new blood mixed. They managed to close it out on Labs for our second game.
Can't complain about how it's been so far. I mean, I think the big thing is if you're looking at this purely from a highlights perspective, it was there. Penguin went big. Schmink had a couple of good rounds. Everyone except Carnage really had a round where you can look at and say the kills, they were amazing with that. Carnage, that isn't his job, and it's fine if he can't do that. If everyone else steps up, and today they did, but you also just saw elite gameplay from everyone. I mean, that's the big thing is it was amazing from a majority of the group here from Karn & Co. It was a good game from everyone, I'd argue, but sometimes it's one of these games where it's just so close, the margins are so thin, and sometimes Carnage needs to just put in a couple of more, and I think that's the case today. Such a sad loss, but at a minimum, you can be hopeful for your future. You can be hopeful for what comes in Playday 2, Playday 3, and beyond. Still, I'm looking back to that first round, that 1v3 that Epic had, and just nuts.
Yeah, the thing that I really noticed about Karn & Co is they make a lot of big mistakes. They're talking about not bringing frag grenades for one of those first attacks, and it really just screwed them over the entire time, right? They make big mistakes, and then they adapt throughout the game to fix those mistakes, and they're really good at adapting. They're really good at fixing their problems, but they have these really big, glaring things that happen to them. And that's why they went down 5-7. Of course, the stats for them are fine. 3 people breaking double digits. Schmink going positive. Carnage 4 and 8, which, you know, as your support, kind of just sometimes the stat line you're left with. Of course, the player to talk about for Triple T is Asian and Epic. Epic getting that triple kill in the first round. I mean, they didn't get that. We would be seeing overtime right now, and it would be an entirely different thing. But just that clutch potential, that X factor, and that's what you needed to bring this one over the top.
I think the big thing there to look at is the entries. We saw just Deity, who generally can have a very wavy entry, isn't always the most guaranteed, but 0-3 isn't, you know, a great game from him. It's obviously uncharacteristic of what we expect. That was the big thing, is that they just could not find those first picks, and it's so much harder to convert rounds when you're working a body down constantly. We kind of saw that. Sometimes they were straggling behind. They were waiting. They were hoping to pull it back with like a clutch, but you can't win a game like that. You can't win a game off of just a bunch of 1v2s and being down on players. It came back to bite them.
Yeah, I think both these teams have a lot to work for, though. I think while we saw good things from Triple T, I think that they relied a lot on rushes. We saw at least 2 rounds where the plan was we're going to just send into the bomb site. Period. There was no plan B, no other considerations. It was bomb site, now go. And that's not comforting. You're gonna have teams who see that and go, okay, we know how to counter that. That's fine. I mean, Karn & Co knew how to counter that. They countered at least one of them. So Triple T, they obviously look solid. They had a great game. They won. They get their full amount of points, but still a little bit to work for, because after that VOD review, after these teams start looking at what you bring to the table, you're going to be a little bit more ready for that kind of shenaniganery.
Yeah, and I think that's, as you mentioned, the big thing to look for. Either way, it's been an absolutely beautiful game by most means. Can't really complain with what we saw. It was perfection at its finest.
Yeah, I do believe that's it for us. No cards. We do, well, it's it for me. I believe you will be casting the rest of the night, but I'm gonna go get some food. Meanwhile, there's still more XGS, and I will be watching alongside everyone at home. But yeah, it's a great game, and it was a pleasure to be here.